I'm probably just acting. You are. Then I guess not 3.
I have something to the third power, and I recognize that I have a GCF here. And if I have a GCF, I have an x times x squared plus 4. Well, now that I've factored it, I'm just going to set them equal to 0. This will be x is equal to 0. So I'm already done here. This is going to be x squared plus 4 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. X squared equals a negative 4. Here, to get rid of the power of 2, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Remember, here this is negative 1 times 4, and the square root of negative 1 is the square root of 4 is, and when you take the square root of an equation, it's plus or minus. Raise your hand if you got x equals plus or minus 2i.
Oh, never mind, that was over here.
Now, this is important, the plus or minus. Let me go over that really quickly. If you did an easy problem like this, x squared equals 9. What number can you put in for x that'll give you 9? 3 and negative 3. Right? Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So what it tells you is basically when you take the square root of an equation, over here your answer will be both plus and minus. Real or non-real?
Real.
So I have one real. And these are 2 complex. Class, what's 1 plus 2?
3.
3 is the highest degree. Okay. Let's go ahead and try a problem like this. Now for number 5, for some of you a placeholder might help. And now I have a trinomial. To factor a trinomial, half of 4 is 2. Now if you did your a times c, 1 times negative 1 is?
Negative 1.
And your b value is 0. What's 2 numbers that multiply to be negative 1 but add to be 0?
1 and negative 1.
Okay, watch. So I'm putting here positive 1 and negative 1. But class, can I just put x and x here?
No.
It's going to be x squared. Do you see that? The reason why you do that is when you FOIL, x squared times x squared is going to give you x to the 4th. So I set each of these equal to 0. All I have to do here is subtract 1. So I have now x squared equals negative 1. I take the square root. X is equal to what?
1i.
What kind of I? Plus or minus. So there are what?
2 of those.
2 complex.
Yeah.
And over here, x squared equals 1. Take the square root. X equals plus or minus 1. Right? The square root of 1 is 1. 2 identical numbers that multiply to be 1 is. So that means I have 2 reals and
2 non.
which is complex, and that's why I have the highest degree there, 4. And the last one, you can do the same thing we did before. You know it's going to be x squared and x squared. Class, what are 2 numbers that multiply to be negative 4 but add to be negative 3?
4. Negative 4. Negative 4 and 1.
Negative 4 and positive 1, right?
Yeah.
So if I just solve this,